you doing, Riley?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm Coach Matt Ides, and I'm a full-time skills instructor. Coach college hockey as well. So spend a lot of time on the ice. And buddy Riley here, he helps out a ton. Riley, tell me your name.
I'm Riley Hurley. I played for Rocco 2009. And I work with Coach almost on the daily
We've known each other how long?
since I was 4.
4.
10.
A long time ago. Yeah. I've coached you since mites, so you're a little guy. Kind of been with me pretty much the whole time, and then I've played on some other teams, but we've always kind of worked together on the ice. And what's it like working out with me on the ice? Is it fun?
I love it. It's fun. It's always a great workout. And then when other kids come through in the clinics, it's fun to work out with them too.
Yeah. Is it easy all the time?
Not easy. No, not at all.
Yeah, it's hard getting good, isn't it? Yeah. So, what's your? I heard you got invited to go play in Italy.
Yes.
What's that like? What do you feel about that?
I'm very excited about it. It's a lot of emotions, mixed, happy. I'm excited to go overseas a lot. Well, for the time, I think it's 10 days. Get to play, meet other kids from other countries, and just see the culture and play hockey there.
Yeah. Are you planning on just when you go overseas to Italy? Are you just gonna focus on hockey the whole time and not enjoy any of the foreign land?
When we have games and stuff, I'm gonna focus on hockey.
Yeah.
And like game days, I will. But the days we have off, I'm gonna explore, see what the culture's like, cause my family's from there.
That's great. Yeah, I would say I had a chance to play in Russia and Finland, but I went to Russia during the Cold War, and we focused on hockey 99% of the time. And I look back at that, and it was a great experience, but, and the hockey was great and all that, but I look back and I wish I had taken more time away from the rink and away from the team and just kind of enjoyed that part of the world that I probably will never return to or travel back there again. So that's one thing that I would tell you is that you should, obviously take the hockey. It's important and you want to play well and help your team. But, you don't get the chance to go overseas that often, or most people don't anyways. So I would say try to enjoy that as much as you can.
All right. I know you've been doing Power Stride for a while now. I've started with you before you even started the company.
Yeah.
From the start of it to now, how's it been?
It's been a crazy ride. It was, I had jobs before that I always did skill development and always worked with kids when I could, and pretty much when I got hurt in college, in between my sophomore and junior year. I had 2 surgeries, and it wasn't looking good for me as a player to advance my career. And so I started coaching, and that was in 92, I believe. So, I started coaching youth hockey in 92, and I never stopped. So, and it's taken me to some different cities and different places, and I've always loved it. The skill part, I think I like that a lot, and then obviously getting to coach some of the higher end guys that are going to play pro in college and juniors, and even coaching my college team. It kind of gets me back to when I was a college player. It makes me feel young again, and we both know that that's not true. So, but as far as now that you know that you're going to Italy and you got the call that you're going. It's exciting, but are there things that you want to work on hockey-wise before you go there? Or?
There's a couple things I want to work on hockey-wise. My down-low stuff in tight area.
Yeah.
Just overall everything in general, just to make sure I'm very prepared.
Yeah, you'll be fine with that. And we probably should see if it's Olympic ice sheets and it's a bigger ice surface, and then obviously we can adjust and do some different skill work and skill technique for that kind of hockey, because it is a little different. Like I remember thinking when I was overseas that I was a good hockey player and I knew how to play hockey, and then when I went overseas I was like, wow, these these guys play a whole different style of hockey, and the European style of hockey is there's a lot of finesse, and they're all very good skaters usually, and they move the puck well, and you know, we were just running around trying to hit everybody that moved, and that's a hard way to play hockey against a skilled team that they can move the puck and skate like that. So, but we can work on some of that stuff, and you know, you've been great like through the years, like when you have had areas that you feel like you need to focus on. You know, you've always called me, and whether it's 6 a.m. that you come, you show up. God, we've been on the ice. You and I have been on the ice at 5:30 in the morning. We've been on the ice at 11 o'clock at night. So hats off to you on that, just as far as your work ethic. And, you know, I coach a lot of kids and all different age levels. And, you know, there's so many great kids out there, but there's a select few kids that I get that are like you that will put the work in and the effort in. And, you know, you've been to my college games. Like, would you say it's easy as a boy to play at the junior and college level and even the professional levels?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's so hard. And
It's even hard where I am.
yeah,
And then just as the years go on and you progress, it just gets harder and harder.
yeah.
You just got to put more work in. And I'm very thankful to have you, and I'm able to work as many days of the week as I need to with anything.
Well, I appreciate that. And, you know, I wouldn't love my job as much as I do if it wasn't for kids like you. And I have kids like you that are willing to put that time in. And, I mean, you see, when I look at the landscape of hockey now, when I graduated high school in 1989, you guys might want to edit that so nobody knows how old I am. In 89, you went from high school to college. So I went from high school to play college. So I was 17, I believe, at the time. Now, the kids that I'm recruiting to come into for my college team are, and you've met them all.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 20, 21 years old by the time they put their foot on campus. And I have 25-year-olds on my team. So, and you know, obviously COVID had a little to do with some of those guys coming back to repeat some years to play some hockey. But it's such a different landscape now as far as what you have to do to get to that point. If that's your goal, to play college hockey and move on to play professional hockey, I tell kids, you know, and parents always ask me, they say, hey, you think my kid could play college hockey? I'm like, well, he's 12, so he's got a good 10 years before anybody's, you know, or 8 years before anybody's asking him to come step on a college campus. So you just got to keep that in mind and keep working hard. And I just say, you know, put your head down and grind. And if you just keep doing that, and you're not thinking about the goal all the time of where you're going, what you're doing, and you just put the work in and learn the little things and just keep working on them, your skill set gets bigger and bigger, you're not going to have to worry about it. Then that's when you become a commodity and people want to, you know, ask you to play for this team or that team or go to college here or play on this junior team, and that's what you got to do. And I feel like that's what you're doing now.
Yeah, I put in a lot of work because when you had the openings at Kilos, I was going down there to work out and help. And then I'm on the ice as much as I can with you.
Yeah, and I think it's important too, like you not only are working on your own self and your own skill set, but you come on the ice and you give me a hand here and there and help the younger kids, and you see what it takes for those kids. And you can see those kids, like, have you witnessed those kids, like?
From when we started doing the Monday skates up until last few weeks, I've seen almost every kid progress.
Yeah, the kids that want, and there's kids that are just out there and they're just, you know, they just want to have fun, and that's great, and that's what it's about. But, you know, for the kids that do want to get better and they put the work in, that's probably the most rewarding part about what I do. And, you know, I tell people I'm never going to get rich doing what I do. It's just not, it's not in the cards. Like, unless you lock onto an NHL team stuff, and then you can start making some really strong money. But for what I do, like, I don't do it obviously for the money. It's to see, like, these kids that have been in, you know, I won't name names, but there was a girl 2 years ago, and she wanted to go to a New England prep school that she had her eye on, and she wasn't prepared for it. And I said, if you put the work in the next 2 years, then we'll see what happens. She did, and she was there in the mornings, and you know her, and now she's away at prep school. So that stuff, those little goals, and to see those kids move on, that's fun stuff right there.
One thing I've noticed is your son Jack, he's put in a ton of work, and I could just see his skill level taking off.
Yeah, he saw his sister gets all these opportunities, and she's getting invited here and going, she's at a hockey academy, and she's going to go off and hopefully play some college hockey. But, he asked me, he's like, am I going to have those opportunities? And I said, well, you got to put the work in. And then I think it kind of, rang a bell in his head where, yeah, I got to, nobody's going to give this to me. There's hundreds of other kids that will work harder and take this opportunity from me if I don't. And I think it has sunk in with him a bit, and you see it. Like, he's been working really hard, and I'm proud of him because he, like I said, maybe on the girls' side it would have been too late, but he's got, he's 13 years old, so he's got some time before. And we always joke, like, you don't want to have the best 6-year-old in the country, and you don't want to have the best 10-year-old. You don't want to have the best 12-year-old. You want to have the best 17-year-old. That's what's important. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. And as long as you keep that in mind, it'll become easier. But back to the opportunity to play overseas. For me, I was 16 years old, and I was just a dumb kid, and I didn't really, I guess I didn't really embrace the opportunity, or I thought it was cool back then, but I want you to realize, like, how many kids your age or how many kids that have the opportunity to go play in a different country and play against teams from different countries. And that's and you'll see when you get there, it's pretty cool. Like, when you get into these little scuffles and these kids are, here and they're talking and they're saying stuff to you. Now they're saying stuff to you, but they don't speak the same language as you. And it's a bizarre, until you're in it, it's a really strange situation, but it's fun. You get to compete against kids your age from completely different backgrounds than you have.
Another tournament I went to was the Pee Wee Quebec tournament.
Yeah.
We played against a ton of European teams, a couple Canadian teams, and
yeah, that's fun. That's a great tournament too.
Everyone was there just for hockey. The pin trading system, just the atmosphere overall was just great.
Yeah, because they're as excited as you are. Just because you're over there, all these other, the teams from Italy live there, but you could be playing teams from the Czech teams and Switzerland, wherever. Like, the Swiss teams, like, you're going to play teams from probably a lot of different countries, which will be great.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, to see what other countries, how they develop their game, and to see what stars they have coming out.
You got any buddies on this team?
I have Jack, so I'm excited to go with
Jack, my son. Yeah. So here's the funny part. Like, Jack, and you know Nathan.
Yep.
But your team will be made up of kids from all over. Like, you might have a kid from California, you might have a kid from Florida, Ohio, and so you have that dynamic, and then you take that dynamic and you're going to move it into a different country, playing teams from other countries and from all over. So I would say embrace the moment, enjoy it, and most importantly, like we talked about before, enjoy the culture and get to do some stuff outside the rink. You're going to have games and you're going to have game days, but from the schedule that I saw, you're also going to have time to do some other stuff. So take advantage. Don't just sit in your hotel room and play video games or stare at your phone. Get outside the hotel and go enjoy a different country and talk to some people. Not that they're going to know what you're talking about, but talk to some other folks and make a not just a hockey tournament out of it, but make a trip of your lifetime out of it.
I will. I'm excited to go to see, like, the culture and just everything overall, because, like I said, my family's from Italy.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to see what, they grew up with, sort of.
Yeah.
And what it is now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for you. And I get to go too, which is great. So I'm going to keep an eye on you as well.
Yes. Make
sure you're doing all the right stuff. But it's good too, because you get to go and you're going to have some family support with you, and then I'm been coaching you for a long time. I'll be there. Jack and another guy on the team. and you guys will have a fun time together exploring and doing some different stuff. So, but we'll keep working hard and make sure that you're prepared. And I'm not worried about that because you always put the work in. You could go now and be prepared, but we'll do some little stuff skill set wise and just make sure that you're in the best shape that you want to be in, and that you feel. The biggest thing is feeling confident in your own game. So when you get there, it doesn't matter if you see a Czech jersey or a big kid from Poland or wherever, that you're confident in your own game and you carry that into
there. I'm
your
show
team.
up to work and show them what's up.
Because if you go there and you're unprepared and then you see all this different stuff and then you start self-doubting yourself and that starts creeping in, and then you just don't play the best hockey that you want to play. And I think that's something that I struggled with. Like, I would get put in a situation like that and there would be a little bit of intimidation factor there. Like, I'd be like, well, these kids are from somewhere else. They got to be better than we are. Like, but that's not the case. They're just kids your age.
Trying to get the same.
Yeah, they're from this. They're the same dopey kid you are, but they're from a different country. Well, edit the dopey part out. We don't want to. No, leave that part in. We like that part. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, they're just kids. Like, they're doing the same stuff you are in a different land, and they love the sport that you love. So, but yeah, it should be fun. Yeah. Any food that you're excited to try over there?
Some real Italian food.
You should go to Sparrow. That's a really good pizza place over there. That was a joke.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, that's it's exciting stuff, and we're all excited for you. I'm glad you got the call, and your coach. Do you know anything about him or no?
I know he played at BU for a bit. Had some history background there, but
I think he played some pro hockey too.
Yeah.
I'll weasel my way in on the bench. Don't worry, I'll end up on the bench somehow. You know I always do.
Yep.
No, he's a great guy, and I actually got to talk to him a little bit too. And he's been taking teams over there for a few years now, and he kind of selects kids that, you know. And when I talked to him, I said, well, how did you find Jack? How did you find Riley? He likes kids that are gritty, and you know, he goes, I don't always look at the biggest kid or the fastest kid. I like kids that just work to keep the puck out of our net and work to put the puck in the other net. And then you think about it, it's a simple game, and people overcomplicate hockey, but when you look at it, it's just taking a rubber disc and putting it in the other team's net more than they put it in yours. And everything else around that is, you know, you can work on structure and different systems, but at the end of the day, you're just trying to put that puck in the net more than they put it in yours. So if you can find a collective group of kids that work hard like that, and they sacrifice themselves for their team, and they block shots, and they make big plays like that, and they're not individualized and trying to skate through everybody and put on a skill session in a game. I mean, I've seen teams like that. I've seen coaches that recruit like that. Oh, this kid's the best kid in Ohio. Or this kid's the best kid. This kid scored 40 goals. That's great. And you put those kids together, and you'll have a pretty good team, right?
Yeah.
But
more individual work than teamwork.
Yeah, if you put a team together, and not to go back to Miracle on Ice, but Herb Brooks is like, I'm not looking for the best guys. I'm looking for the right guys. Like, I want the kids that are going to do the stuff that's going to make us beat teams that are more skilled and maybe faster, maybe bigger than we are. So I think that's part of the reason that he probably recruited you, just from what I know about how you play hockey, and you play a gritty style, and there's not a lot of coaches that aren't going to like that. So hats off to you on that right there. So
hats
you
off
got
to
that
you
from your
for
mom.
Making me put in all the work and doing battle drills almost every day, and it's a lot of fun. And I know you're going to Italy. What are you most excited about?
I'm just going to lock myself in the room and sleep the whole week, catch up on my sleep. But you guys take some pictures so I can see them on the airplane on the way home. No, I want to go. I want to taste the food. I might have a glass of wine. Don't tell anybody. And I want to just walk around and see the sights and Lake Como and all these places that you hear all the stuff about that I've never seen. So I've never been there. The places that I went overseas, I went to Moscow, Leningrad, and Helsinki. And they were awesome in each of their own ways. Russia at the time was a little, I'll say the lockdown, but it was you could only do so much. Like they didn't want you certain places, and they were watching you, and you just kind of mind your own business and stay out of trouble. Whereas Italy, you know, I think they're excited when you come over and the tourists come over and get to enjoy their culture, and especially the hockey players. Like, who doesn't like a hockey player?
Yeah.
Well, some people, but
It's pretty sad if they don't.
yeah, though they don't know you. If they don't like you, they don't know you. That's what I say.
Yep.
But yeah, so let's make a trip out of this, enjoy ourselves, have some fun playing hockey, and like I said, more importantly, enjoy the whole atmosphere.
I will. I'm excited. It's going to be a great time.
Do you have any questions for me as far as what you should be looking for when you're over there, or what to expect, or?
Not really, because you kind of went over it, and we've talked before about it, and your experience of going overseas and what to look out for and what to be ready for.
Yeah, and I will say I haven't looked to see how long the plane ride is, but you hear about bus legs. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, travel lag.
Travel lag is a real thing. So usually, I think if I saw the schedule correctly, you probably have a day or two, maybe a practice before you really jump into competition.
Yeah, I think we have 2 practices before.
Yeah, that's good.
So we can try and get on the sleep schedule and get ready.
That's perfect. Yeah. Well, hey, I'm excited for you, buddy.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited too.